Hey there, friends. I'm Andrew. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about 9 vegetables that you can plant in August. It is already almost August. Where does it go? If you're a gardener like me, you'll kind of miss it. You're like, you may be on the other side, where you might say, I'm tired. I'm ready to give myself a break, and that's okay. If you're sad, being like, oh, the season's almost over, something that I learned late in my gardening career was that there are multiple seasons within the growing season. It's not just plant everything in the spring. Once everything dies, that's it. There are multiple staggering plantings that you can maximize your harvests. And if there are certain vegetables that if you plant now, you can harvest up into January, depending on how mild of a winter you have. So right now, if you live in Canada, you're able to plant varieties and harvest them through December. So let's get into my favorite crop to grow. And I'll be planting this probably in the middle of August, and that is spinach. So this is an heirloom variety that I discovered earlier today. Look at the size of those leaves. That's like the size of a dinner plate. Look at this little cheese cutting board. Like, right? You know the size of those, or like a paring knife. That's a big leaf, and I prefer those. Easier to harvest. You just cut them up into a salad, or fry them up in spinach. Easy to do, and that's beautiful. Look at that. So that with heirloom varieties, they tend to grow out more instead of straight up. And that is just because that's how spinach grows, where if you get a variety that's bred for the market gardener, they tend to grow straight up. See this? Upright and uniform. That's what farmers are looking for. They're easier to harvest because they have a longer stem, and they're all uniform size, so it looks nice in a salad bag or a spinach bag. The downside to F1 varieties, though, is that if you want to save seed from here, the offspring that you get will be all over the place. They won't be all uniform and upright. Some might be just wildly different. Another bad attribute with a lot of F1 varieties is that they're bred to farm. Okay, so when you do that, for example, the tomato, there was one developed maybe in Israel or France, and it was created for like a 4 to 6 week shelf life. Now the downside to that is that it lost nutritional density, and you could taste it. If you taste a grocery store fruit or vegetable, they kind of taste bland. Same thing with spinach. I did this earlier in the year where I bought spinach before my spinach was ready to harvest. So there was a point where I had store-bought spinach in the fridge and my garden spinach ready on the plate, and the taste was incomparable. The homegrown was like buttery and creamy. It had a brilliant texture, where the store-bought was kind of bland. Now, that's nothing to say against the particular variety that I bought at the store. That's just pretty widespread. Whether you get organic, inorganic, whatever you buy, it's just not the same. And that's what happens with F1 varieties, is they're bred for disease resistance and shelf life and ease of cutting and quantity. So you're going to lose some of the nutrients, minerals, and vitamins that you'll get by growing it yourself. And there's multiple tests that have been done to show that food from the 50s are about 50% more nutritious than the store-bought varieties that you can get today. Good thing with heirlooms, though, let's see, does it say where this was? It's rare in the US, but no, it doesn't say when it was first bred, but sometimes these can go back hundreds of years where people have been growing the same variety. I like that. When I choose varieties to grow in my garden, I like to select heirlooms. Not to say that F1 varieties aren't good to grow. And what's another thing, I don't know if I pointed this out yet, look how round these are. That's unique for spinach. Usually spinach that I find is like arrow shaped. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I've spent quite enough time on spinach. Endive. If you've never had endive, a lot of people haven't. It's sort of like a bitter lettuce. Almost like if you let your lettuce start to bolt, it gets a little bitter. That's sort of what endive is like. And it can be very nice to add into a lettuce. Do you see how voluminous this is? It can add a lot of volume to your salad mixes if you're a market gardener, or if you're just a home gardener and you're growing food for your family. It is nice to add a little bit of bitterness to a really savory spinach dish. You can get these in the ground now and start growing them all the way to December. The next one, another one of my favorites, is Bok Choy. Now, I've grown this variety before, and they were beautiful. That nice contrast between the healthy, thick green leaves and the really crunchy white stems here. However, I just discovered another Bok Choy that I'm excited about. And look at these. Look how long that stem is. Bok Choy is sort of like leeks, where if you grow a leek, you want a leek that has a long white stem. And that's what these are, that you can eat them like celery, dunk them in blue cheese with wings, but they're more nutritious. Let's see, refreshing snack. I don't think it mentions nutritional density here, but maybe it's worth checking it out later. The leaves don't look as like hearty and healthy, but that's okay. I don't grow Bok Choy for the leaves anyway. I'm more impressed with the stems on these Bok Choys. Kind of tastes like it's crunchy like celery, and it's great for stir fries, for salads. You cut them out real thin. You can eat them raw or cooked. Soups, stocks. You can do anything with Bok Choy. If you're a person who doesn't eat a lot of rare vegetables like this, and you might be a little picky, it's worth growing Bok Choy. I think you're going to be a fan. It's not bitter. It's not strange or exotic or rare. It's delicious. Just a brief interruption. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful so far, like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps, and I look forward to giving you updates along this whole growing season. The next one is dill. I've grown teddy before, and that's why I decided to show it here. You can get a lot of dill with not a lot of plants. You grow 1 or 2 plants and you see how bushy these are? I don't know how many plants, what their spacing is, how this farmer did it, but you could probably every 6 inches to a foot spacing. Rows. Okay, so they recommend every ½ inch. All right, I was wrong. So there's a lot of plants in here, which you could do. You totally could follow the directions of the seed, but I find that 1 or 2 plants is more than enough dill for my needs to add some flavor to a lot of different dishes, whether it be pickles, great with potatoes. I find it nice with some home fries. Dill is a great herb to grow. Next, we have radishes. If you've never eaten radishes before, you probably won't like them. They're often kind of said to be spicy. I don't find them spicy like wasabi, horseradish, or peppers. They're nothing like that. I find them to be extremely bitter and pungent. I don't like them. I've tried to. I've actually grown wasabi radishes from rare seeds a few weeks ago, and they were I cut them in julienne, just like you see here, in little sticks, and had them with my salad. Not a fan. They looked exactly like this. It was fun to grow, but not a fan. If you like radishes though, check these guys out. Look, they've got pink, purple. Look, those look like beans. So long cylindrical pink and red. Even potato looking ones. brilliant, like fire truck red. Another plant you can start with is turnips. Turnips are a nice crop to grow because they're like, if you've never tasted them, they're sort of like a watery potato. There's a lot less carbs. It's not starchy, but it's sort of like watery potatoes. Now, if you're watching your calories, what I've done before is I'll mix a couple of turnips in with my mashed potatoes and boil it the same way, mash them all together. And it's a great low calorie side. Turnips are an apocalypse food. They grow fast, and you can keep cropping them out. They work great in bundles. So if you were to plant 3 or 4 per cell and just harvest the biggest one, if these 3 were in the same planting hole, pull that one out, let these mature a little bit more. Turnips are a great crop. We also have scallions. Scallions, it's a great time to start growing these now for all the way into the spring. Even red ones. So these are Johnny's. Johnny's has the best selection that I've found for spring onions or green onions. These are harvested by pulling them out, and then you can chop them. Put them in your salad, in your soups, stews, and your eggs. Really, whatever it is that you're eating. If you make tacos, you can put them on your tacos. You put them on everything. They're like hot sauce. They're not spicy. They're onion flavored, like a mild onion. Another thing here, it's not on my list for some reason, cilantro. Now's a great time to plant cilantro. I've grown cruiser before. Excellent variety. I would absolutely grow it again. Let's see, open pollinated, so you can certainly collect the seed from these. Bolt resistant. For most of us in the United States, this isn't an issue not growing in the fall. Yeah, great value. You are going to have to pay for shipping here, so you may have to pay $10. 50 days to harvest, that's pretty good. And that's a rundown. That certainly was not an all-inclusive list of all the things you can grow, but it was certainly a great place to get started. I hope you get back out there, rip out the dead plants, re-amend your soil, and get to growing all autumn long and into the winter. If you like what you saw in this video, please give us a like. It doesn't cost anything at all. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, because there's going to be way more content just like this one. More garden tours. I can show you how I plant my garden, what it looks like. Check out some of those other videos that I've already done, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.